So if you didn't know, June is LGBT Pride Month, whether or not the president decides to acknowledge it. And typically many LGBT events happen this month, and this year should be no exception. Now, I personally hesitate to call myself an LGBT activist or an activist of any kind because I think I focus on discussion more than action. I do, however, consider myself an ally to LGBT activists and to LGBT people in general. Hi, I'm T1J.
Follow me.
So firstly, big shout outs to MeUndies for sponsoring today's video. Check the link below to get 20% off your first order. If you didn't know, MeUndies is an online company known for their super comfortable underwear. And seriously, no joke, they are like super soft. I'm actually wearing a pair right now. Like, I kind of want all of my clothes to be made out of this material. And that's all well and good, but what I really like about this company is that they are socially aware and socially responsible. They're all about inclusiveness and being able to express yourself no matter your gender, your age, your size, or your background. As mentioned, it's Pride Month, and MeUndies is currently running a campaign called Celebrate Yourself in support of the LGBT community. For every pair of the special Celebrate undies they sell, they're gonna donate $1 to the Los Angeles LGBT Center. So it'll be dope if you guys check that out. There's also a link to that in the description. And supporting campaigns like this is one way in which you might express your alliance with the LGBT community. Now, as you might know, we here at youtube.com/theonejanitor are very wary of buzzwords that are overused and used divisively and disingenuously. And I feel like the word ally can sometimes come dangerously close to being such a word. So as always, I want to try and start a conversation about what an ally actually is and what it means to be a good one. And since it is LGBT Pride Month, I'm going to talk about it in reference to the LGBT community. But this can apply to allies of many different marginalized groups, such as women or racial minorities, which are of course also often LGBT. Hashtag intersectionality. So generally when people describe LGBT allies, they're talking about people who aren't LGBT themselves, but understand that these people face unique challenges and want to be supportive. But just because you want to be supportive doesn't mean you are being supportive. So one of the responsibilities of people who want to be allies is to figure out how to be good allies. Now, as a black man, I have various ideas about how to be an ally to minority groups, but I'm not LGBT myself. So in preparation for this video, I asked my social media followers their ideas about how to be a good ally, and I also read a bunch of resources on the internet about it. And as you might imagine, there's not really one agreed upon answer to the question. Some people within the community even reject the concept of allies altogether and feel uncomfortable drawing so much attention specifically to the fact that they are LGBT. So I think the first and maybe most important thing to understand is that the LGBT community is not some kind of hive mind, just like any other community. It's a very diverse group of people from many different backgrounds, and they have many different philosophies about how people should behave and how the world should work. But it does seem like there are a few things that at least most people can agree on. First and foremost, it's important to remember that not everyone is straight or cisgender. Now, I think this is obvious to most of you already, but the way that we act and speak doesn't always reflect this. Talking about straight cis people as if they are the default human being is one of the biggest ways that we marginalize LGBT people and make it harder for them. Not all women date men. Not all men have penises. Not all people identify as men and women. We're still working on this as a society, but we have to get to the point where we don't marginalize people by making assumptions based on our preconceptions of what we think is normal. And one of the reasons that we struggle with this is because we don't have those experiences. And as such, we have to acknowledge that we're not the experts on someone else's experience. A person who is LGBT will always know more about what it's like to be LGBT than a person who isn't. Now, I think it's useful to research and find resources about these issues, but that doesn't hold a candle to firsthand experience. And like I said, these experiences can vary, but if you keep listening, you'll hear a lot of similar stories. So it's important to listen to people and not pretend that you know as much about their life as they do. So I've talked about the problems with color blindness when it comes to race, and LGBT people also often deal with the same kind of minimizing of their experience. Now, sure, for some people, being gay or trans, for example, is just a thing that they don't think about that much in their day-to-day life. But for others, it's a huge part of their identity. And potential allies sometimes think they're helping by saying things like, I don't even see you as gay. But in most cases, this probably isn't really helping. For one, acknowledging these identities is necessary in order to undo the injustices that they face in our society. But also, telling someone that you don't acknowledge their identity is just kind of rude. At the same time, some people take it too far. Sometimes it seems people want to demonstrate how supportive they are, but end up treating LGBT people like some kind of spectacle. Like they acknowledge that part of their identity, but that's all they acknowledge. I love gay people. I only go to gay bars. they're way more fun. Hey, there's a gay couple over there right now having lunch. They're so cute together. Look at their little gay outfits and those adorable little gay sandwiches they're eating. I think minority groups want to be acknowledged, but not like infiltrated. The world is still very often a hostile and uncomfortable place for LGBT people. And sometimes people just want to relax and be themselves, which is kind of hard to do when there's people in their face all the time telling them how cute they are. And from all the stuff I read and all the responses I got, I think this is kind of the gist of the whole thing. People want their identities to be acknowledged and their problems to be taken seriously, but also they just want to be treated like people. Minorities are often victims of stereotyping, even positive stereotyping. And LGBT people are no exception. But of course, like anyone else, they're just people who come in many different shapes and sizes and personalities. Some of them are fashionable and witty and outgoing, while others are shy and reserved and plain. Some of them are hypersexual, while others are asexual. Some of them are lovable and amazing, while others are insensitive bullies. What they do all have in common is that they live in a world that largely treats them like second-class citizens, and their problems and experiences are often marginalized, if not outright ignored. And that's part of why Pride Month and LGBT pride in general is even a thing. It's a counterattack. But even if we don't realize it, I don't think those problems can be solved by one community alone. I personally think allies are extremely essential. And because of that, people who want to be allies should consciously put effort into listening and learning how to support marginalized communities in the best way possible. That's just me though. What do you think? Now, of course, there are many other ideas about how to be a good ally, and I just scratched the surface here. If you have any more advice or comments, please leave them below. Thanks once again to MeUndies for sponsoring this video. Please check them out, guys. Like I said, for every purchase of the Celebrate Undies, they will donate $1 to the Los Angeles LGBT Center. They look like this. They have a lot of other great prints as well. Yo, this one has pandas on it. It's so soft. They also sell more than just undies. For example, this t-shirt I'm wearing was also made by them. And remember to check out the link in the description to get 20% off your first order. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more discussions about social issues, current events, and pop culture. And special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters. And remember, stay Heiko.